So going back to my primary control system are my lists, my project list, my action list, and I keep those lists in digital form in IBM Notes, the old Lotus Notes. Primarily, that's done through a software called eProductivity, which is specifically designed for notes. So if you don't use Notes, IBM Notes, you can't have exactly what I've got. But I think you'll catch the idea. Just lists, in a way. So most of the tools that you could use digitally and otherwise are just list managers. So this is how I manage mine. Now, that's my email, which opens up right away. But I also have, this is listed, I have my list of tasks, much like Outlook tasks, Lotus Notes tasks, or so forth in the same way. But the way this is organized is I have a project list, and then I have my action list, which are organized as agendas, calls to make, things to do at the computer. Now I have 3 or 4 different kind of at computer lists, so don't get too freaked out here. That I just found over the years it was easier because so much of what I need to do is stuff that I need to do at the computer. These do not require an internet connection. I can do these on a plane though I'm not connected to anything. Just as long as I have my MacBook with me, I'm fine. I can do any one of these actions, like draft some projections for an accountant that I need to do, or to review an email that's got a lot of information in it, and that's going to take me a while to do, and to do a couple of updates, things like that. I also have an at computer, which is called creative writing, very different context. So these used to freak me out when they were involved with all the other stuff I had to do at the computer, because these require a whole different kind of mindset. So I found it useful to subset those more in a psychological or a creative context than just simply throwing them into the other list of stuff to do. And I have an errands list, things to do out and about. I need to stop at the hardware store. I need to pick up a piece of mail at somebody's place, and I want to stop by the shoe store and see if they have a certain kind of shoe. So those are errands. Stuff to do at home. I don't have an at office list because this is my office. But things I need to do here. I need to create some pictures that basically I need to make pictures kind of the stuff that you're looking at here for another class that I'm doing. And then I have online computers. Basically, these are things that require good internet connection. So when I'm on planes, I don't need to look at this list if the connection is not any good. So I just found that useful. I also have just surfing. This is like anything that I might want to do, like the cat videos or the all that fun stuff, or potentially fun stuff if my brain is dead and I just want to play around on the internet. These are some of the things that people have reminded or suggested that I take a look at. I have a waiting for list. Basically all the stuff I'm waiting on to come back from anybody else. And there also are, I have a someday maybe list, which I found it kind of fun. Here's the creative someday maybes, the company someday maybes, my exploring someday maybes, like take a canal boat vacation in Bordeaux. And when I'm really unhooked, I might take Latin dance classes, take a balloon ride. Who knows? So those are that's someday maybe stuff, and those are basically the reminder list that I need to see at the ground level or otherwise. I have a temporary list called This Trip, and there's nothing in it now, but if I'm going to take a big trip, what I'll do is I'll go through all those other lists, and because I can do it on the computer, I'll drag those things. If it's something I have to do, no matter what category it's in, but I have to do it before that trip, I'll just drag it into here. And then I'll do nothing but work off that list until it's done. I will have assessed everything else could wait until I'm back, so I don't need to look at the other list until this one's cleaned up. Then I can go back to my other typical thing of doing it. I have a tickler file here that's built into this software, so that I used to use a physical tickler file, which I really like and in a way prefer to this. But again, the filing systems are not that good in Europe that I could find that makes it easy to make that easy in and out. And a lot of this stuff is digital anyway. So the way this is set up, I can see everything coming up on my tickler file. Like here's, I need to pay the rent at this particular time. Here's a pill when our dog needs to take her next pill for her anti-flea stuff that she takes. when my Russia visa expires. So all those things will then also trigger on the calendar. So I'll see them coming up there, but I can also review this in my weekly review. Just to see things coming toward me. It's a nice way to make sure I'm missing nothing out there that I need to orient myself with. Now that's basically my reminder system. I also use IBM Notes is a huge database essentially of reference material. So our companies, customize lots of different databases. My wife and I share a database here where we have just reference of all the personal stuff digitally that we would ever want to keep about anything. So that's really great to have. It's really great to have a piece of software like that can do that. I also use Evernote. Evernote's a really good digital filing system. It took me a while to figure out the best way to organize it, but my major categories of notes that I have are within the notebooks called checklists or locales, like things to do the next time I'm in London or places to eat, etc. Instructions, really nice to keep track of instructions so I don't have to go look up the manual again about certain things to do. I've got one for humor, just general reference, one of just lists that I like to keep track of. Cool stuff to do is another one. So that's a real simple way to organize a lot of digital information. By the way, the good news about all of that with my systems is not only everything in Evernote, but also all those lists you saw on IBM Notes are transferred automatically and immediately through the cloud to my iPhone and my iPad. So I am virtually transparent no matter where I am. I don't do work usually unless I'm sitting here in this cockpit. It's just too much of a hassle to try to use those smaller tools given everything I've got here to be able to do it. But it's nice to have access to it if I want to. Certainly your errands list is nice to have on my iPhone when I'm walking around. Or to be able to check email, or if I want to just delete spam in my email while I'm waiting in line somewhere. So it is nice to have, certainly nice to have all those things accessible to me kind of from wherever I am. And the other maps that I need to see, I found at a certain point in my life, probably 4 or 5 years ago, my life got so complex. I was trying to manage so many things, both writing books, managing the company, managing a lot of big projects, a lot of potential partnerships, that life was getting so crazy that I decided I really needed to create a larger overview or a more of a meta view. So a meta view for me is I created a mind map. I use Mind Manager for that. And I created a meta view with something called DA World. That's me. That's my world. And the DA World basically gives me an overview of the kind of the bigger things that I want to see from a little higher altitude. So upcoming things, even though these are on my calendar and also on my project list as well, I just wanted to see that. So if I wanted to orient myself, okay, David, come on, lift up a little bit, see what's coming toward you, in case that triggers other things that I need to think about or do. Key projects, again, these are also listed on my project list. This is a bit of duplication, I understand, but it's useful for me when I'm looking at this and keeping this current, bringing this current, I'm seeing even those lists from a new perspective, and an important one. So like putting my lens, like this lens is moving in and out. I needed to move the lens out a little bit to be able to see things from a larger perspective. And so key projects, upcoming stuff, my maintenance stuff that I'd kind of be reminded, how's my energy, how's my sense of service, what am I doing, how's my creative thinking about the company and the contents of GTD, and my relationships. So there's a kind of a little higher perspective that I would like to see fairly regularly. And then I have my horizons, Horizon 2, 3, 4, and 5. And these are separate mind maps. I can link them in here. So if I want to see my areas of focus, I can glance at those quickly or update it. If I want to see my goals and objectives, I can look at those quickly and see what those are on another mind map. If I want to see my sort of big vision stuff, wild success for me, what might that look or sound like? So that's also on a mind map. And then, if I need the reminder, I want to just get my own inspiration called what's life purpose, values, core stuff, the core stuff for me. So these different horizons, I have orientation maps for those, but I can get to them from here. So essentially I can get to any of my stuff just right here in terms of what else, is there anything else I would need to keep track of that I have any attention on? No. So that's how brain stays empty, is managing and maintaining so you've seen my external brain now. And I haven't changed much about this over the last 10 to 15 years, frankly. Little tweaks here and there, but for the most part, this has got me, where I need to be and hasn't changed. The content's changed a lot because the nature of my work has changed. So at a certain time, there was a lot more complexity to my system because I was managing a lot more complexity. I've still got very big projects. I'm still up to here with, I'm still full of stuff to do. I can't say that I'm retired. So it's still full, but it looks different. The system's a little different. So not a lot, but I keep customizing that, every few months I get a better idea or another way to look at that or another place that would be better to put some of those kind of things. So I think that's pretty much an overview. Daniel, did we kind of cover everything that we needed to cover so you could see my systems?
Yeah.
Well,
I think the email, if you could show the
file
system.
The filing system for email. And processing stuff. I think that's also useful to see how I then use these systems. Would be, if I were cleaning up email, for instance, I would just start, and here's my email that I've been pretty much wall to wall for the last couple of days. Haven't been able to clean it. Started at 0 a couple of days ago, but here's what I haven't been able to delete between the lines while I was on breaks. So I will just need to go through these one at a time and see what they are. Here's an email that talks about my podcast has gone live. So I'll need to send some links to some other people. I won't bore you with me doing that right now, but that'll only take a couple of minutes. And again, I like to sort of coach people too, that if you have less than a screen full or a screen and a half, like I have right now, and I know I'm going to get this emptied out by the end of today anyway, I don't need to go, park it over on another list and then bring it back again. I'll just get through all this stuff and zero this out. Some of these may take a little bit longer. If they take a lot longer, I indeed will make them an at-computer action to take care of those. But that's something I would probably do. It might take me 3 or 4 minutes to do it. So I'll just leave it here for right now. I've just been accepted to speak at they've just asked me to speak at a TEDx in Curacao. So here's my confirmation that they're delighted about that. They want me to, confirm that I'm willing to do that and happy to do it or whatever. And that's going to, what will happen is that will become a project. So in my system, I can actually literally drag that over into my project list and it becomes a project there. So I can take my emails and actually make them a project. We've written a best practice about both in IBM Notes as well as for Outlook, which you can get through our website, of how to structure the tasks functions inside of those in such a way that you could do this, kind of what I'm doing. The software I've got makes it a little more automatic, but you could do that if you wanted to. So I don't have to rewrite that email or write something else. I just drag that over and now it's a project. And then I would need to figure out a next action on that. So that's how I would just clean up email. I'd just be going through them one at a time. Is that trash? Delete. Is it something to file? Then I can file. And again, I have an email filing system with just a pure alpha system, probably 200 files. I'll make a file for almost anything, just to be able to get it out of in. A lot of people are using their in-basket as a filing system and it doesn't really work well that way. I need to, everything in here in my in-basket should be, David, you still have not finished deciding what this is. And I need that reminder set up that way. If I had other stuff in there, I have to keep rethinking which ones I need to do that with and which ones I don't. So people look at me and they say, gee, you're so organized. No, I'm just lazy. I don't want to have to keep rethinking what does an email mean. So as soon as I decide that is trash, that's deleted. If that's filing, if that's referenced, that goes there. If it's incubate, that goes into tickler or someday maybe. So all the non-actionable stuff do not stay in my in-basket. So again, these are still waiting clarification. They're waiting on step 2 of the 5-step process. Right? That's what goes there. So that's how I do that, but that's also how I empty my physical in-basket. Exactly the same thing. There's no difference. I'll pick this up and say, well, scratched off that note, nothing on there. That's trash. I'll pick up some notes from, where I took in my wallet. Wild Columbia Wild Magic, Netflix. The Netflix thing somebody recommended to me. So, I'll probably go, okay, movies to see. That automatically brings up an Evernote file for movies to see, right? So, Wild Magic. That's where that goes. The other note was send tweets to GTD network. Okay, that is something I actually need to spend a little bit of time doing, so I'm going to put that on at computer. I'm going to add that to my action list called send tweet set to trainers and save and close. So that went on my at computer list. Clarified, organized, done. That's my game, folks. So you've kind of seen pretty much the whole thing. Hopefully that was useful to you, or hopefully didn't blow your fuses to say, oh my God, do I have to do all that? No, you don't have to do all that. And again, all those pieces kind of got developed over quite a period of time for me, but I keep them as simple as possible. And so you should too. So start with, if you're setting one up, and if it gave you any ideas, start with whatever kind of rang your bell and said, oh, that would be cool to set up, or maybe that's the thing that I need to work on to do. And just step by step. Good luck.
Thank you so much.